Today, we will examine a widespread problem that many people deal with on a regular basis. This detrimental social influence demonstrates how individuals or groups discreetly attempt to gain control and an advantage. Manipulation occurs in a variety of contexts, including the workplace, interpersonal interactions, and large social circles. Comprehending these strategies is not solely about self-defense. It's also about fostering more positive and transgender relationships. It's critical to develop self-defense skills. We'll discuss aggressive manipulation techniques, but keep in mind that information is neutral and depends on how you apply it. These are evil strategies, and our intention is to protect you from them rather than employ them on other people. Consider this knowledge as a tool for self-defense or personal development. It will reveal how manipulation frequently enters our lives unseen by us. Our goal is to demystify these tactics so you can both identify and defend yourself against them. At the conclusion, you'll be more equipped to traverse the world with a critical eye and an alert mind. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. It makes a big difference to us and doesn't cost you anything. Let's examine the first triangulation in detail: the puppetry of manipulation in relationships. Triangulation is the name of the subtle but effective game that frequently takes place in the complex terrain of relationships. Imagine yourself in a social situation with two friends, enjoying the good times, when all of a sudden a third person enters the picture. Not to add positivity, but to sow the seeds of discord. This is the essence of triangulation, a crafty strategy that brings a stranger into a friendship. Dynamic aiming to sow doubt, conflict, or separation. The mastermind of this manipulation plays the role of a puppeteer, expertly manipulating the strings and using the third person as a puppet. Their strategies involve fabricating stories or sharing private information between the parties involved. In addition, the third person is used as a prop to support the manipulator's viewpoint, undermining others' faith in their own emotions and perceptions. It's like a marionette expertly manipulating someone to denigrate them in order to put doubt on everyone else's feelings and assessments. Think of a family setting. In a professional setting, a parent may discreetly make fun of one sibling's reputation while carefully building a bond with the other, leaving the first feeling alone and uneasy. A manager may spread unfavorable rumors about one worker to another, inciting competition and mistrust within the group. Relationship trust is destroyed by triangulation. It obstructs direct lines of communication, allowing the manipulator to keep power and absolve themselves of accountability for disputes. In order to escape this complex game, victims frequently find themselves caught in a loop of miscommunications with little knowledge of the manipulator's part in sustaining the turmoil. Establishing strict personal boundaries and encouraging open and honest communication amongst the persons involved are the next steps after identifying the strategy. It becomes imperative to deliberately refuse to participate in discussions or acts that, to put it more simply, foster division and mistrust, to actively challenge the veracity of the information received, and to ask people for direct clarifications. Consider triangulation as a dangerous game of puppetry and secrets that can destroy relationships. Regaining control and establishing healthy connections need being vigilant, speaking honestly, and avoiding manipulator tactics. It's time to untangle the knots and take charge of your own defense against the manipulation of others in your relationships. The second manipulation technique is called double bind. It involves navigating the complex world of psychological manipulation by trapping people in a perplexing situation where they are forced to make contradictory decisions or messages. It's similar to being stuck in a maze with no way out, where every choice leads to a sense of disadvantage or being in the wrong. This manipulation technique is cleverly intended to cause victims to feel confused, powerless, and anxious. The fundamental aspect of the double bind is when options are presented that ensure a negative result, weaving a psychological web from which it appears hard to break free. When a child tries to express their feelings, they are reprimanded for being disrespectful or overly sensitive. In this situation, the child is caught in a vicious cycle where speaking up results in punishment and staying silent results in criticism. This is how manipulators who use the double bind often communicate in violation of expectations or demands. Similar dynamics occur in relationships when one partner expresses a desire for greater independence but withdraws or reacts negatively when the other spends time alone. The victim of this manipulation feels confused and insecure about their behavior, which appears to be causing a negative reaction. The double bind's sneaky nature undermines a person's confidence in their own sense of self and discernment. People's self-esteem can be severely damaged by this repeated manipulation, which also makes them more reliant on the manipulator to get out of a sticky situation and get credit. Victims need to realize that this is not a reflection of their own incapacity or failure, but rather a manipulative trap, requesting assistance from reliable friends. In order to defend oneself against this ubiquitous form of manipulation, it is imperative to establish clear boundaries, communicate assertively, and seek the help of counselors or therapists. In essence, resolving the complexities of the double bind entails acknowledging the manipulation, seeking outside support, and strengthening personal boundaries to escape its perplexing grasp. The fifth set of limitations. Never feel as though someone is attempting to take over your life all the time. They can be dictating to you where you go, who you can hang out with, and what to dress. Behavior that passes for caring is a huge red flag in any relationship. This is because trust and freedom are the foundation of healthy relationships. They let you express yourself, explore your interests, and create a life that fulfills you. When someone consistently restricts these things, it creates an environment that is suffocating, and you may feel like you're always treading carefully out of fear of their disapproval. This fear can erode your confidence and make it challenging to be who you truly are. Let's be clear, there is a difference between healthy boundaries and controlling restrictions. Imagine wanting to spend time with a new friend, but they get jealous and try to stop you. Or wanting to wear a bold outfit you love, but they constantly criticize or forbid it. These restrictions are a sign of insecurity and a lack of trust. They're not about protecting you, they're about controlling you. What can you do if you're facing unreasonable restrictions in your daily life? For example, your partner may want you to return home at a respectable hour after a night out, or your parents may have given you a curfew. These boundaries are reasonable and demonstrate care, but persistent, unreasonable restrictions on your daily life are a sign of manipulation. The first step in a successful relationship is communication. Try talking to the other person and expressing how their behavior makes you feel. If they are open to change, there may be room for growth in the relationship. However, if they persist in their controlling behavior, it may be time to end it entirely. Remember that you should be in relationships that empower you rather than control you. Don't settle for anything less than freedom, trust, and the capacity to be who you truly are. Number 6. Emotional blackmail. Imagine someone telling you that if you really loved me, you would quit your job and follow me across the country. This is a manipulative statement that plays on your emotions and makes you feel responsible for their happiness. Have you ever felt like someone is holding your love or approval hostage? This is emotional blackmail, a manipulation tactic that thrives on fear, guilt, and obligation, trust and understanding, not threats posing as declarations of love, are the foundation of strong partnerships. Emotional blackmail can also be subtly used. Perhaps you receive a steady barrage of passive-aggressive remarks after you make a choice they don't like, or maybe they withhold their affection from you in silence as a form of punishment for defying them. This manipulation flourishes in circumstances when we have a strong emotional attachment to someone's viewpoint. We may give in to their demands in an effort to avoid feeling guilty, fear of losing their love, or a desperate attempt to maintain harmony, but doing so simply serves to strengthen the manipulator behavior. In order to break free, we must first identify the warning signs. For example, are you always treading carefully out of fear of upsetting someone, or do you feel compelled to grant their requests in order to appease them? When the pattern is recognized, it's time to establish limits. Let the person know that you won't be controlled by guilt trips or emotional outbursts by communicating with them in a calm and unambiguous manner. Phrases like, "This decision is mine to make and I won't be pressured into changing," or "I understand you're upset but I won't be spoken to like that," can be quite effective. Keep in mind that being happy in a healthy relationship shouldn't entail holding someone else emotionally captive. True love respects your decisions and encourages you to be happy, even if they don't always match your desires. If establishing boundaries is tough, think about getting help from a therapist, family member, or trusted friend. You deserve wholesome relationships based on respect for one another and honest communication. So resist the urge to allow emotional blackmail dull your light. Make a decision to put your health first and eighth. Give yourself the tools you need to create sincere connections that encourage and support you. Information. Hiding in the context of manipulation. Information concealment is a cunning tactic used to keep people in the dark. It entails the intentional withholding of important facts or the distortion of the truth in order to maintain narrative control. In other words, it's a maneuvering move intended to sway opinions and affect how decisions are made. This situation. Someone purposefully withholds important information or purposefully falsifies facts, arranging things so that some people don't know the whole truth. Here, the goal is evident. By keeping people ignorant or misinformed, manipulators want to shape the story to suit their own objectives. Honesty and transparency are essential to positive relationships and productive communication. Nevertheless, withholding facts goes against these core values. When one party purposefully withholds important information, it weakens the foundation of trust and mutual understanding and replaces it with a sense of confusion and doubt. This changes the dynamics of the relationship and impairs the ability to make well-informed decisions. Recognizing this manipulation tactic calls for a keen understanding of the value of open communication. People should be able to spot differences in the information that is shared with them and question the accuracy and completeness of what is presented. This requires looking past the obvious and being aware of potential omissions or distortions. In addition, combating information concealment requires promoting an environment that is open, transparent, and encourages honesty. In both personal and professional contexts, communication creates a climate in which people feel comfortable exchanging information without worrying about it being manipulated. By prioritizing honesty and openness, people can strengthen themselves against the deceptive tactics of those who seek to control narratives through the concealment of information. By doing this, they reclaim their agency and uphold the principles of genuine communication. This involves fostering a culture where the value of truthful disclosure is upheld, creating a foundation of trust in navigating a world where information is power. Awareness of the potential for manipulation through concealment is crucial. Phone number for communication: 9 attachments to fear. Have you ever been stuck in a relationship because the other person makes you afraid to end it? Perhaps they say things like, "You'll never find anyone else if you walk out that door," or "You'll be completely alone without me." Here's how fear attachment, a powerful manipulation technique, operates. In order to keep you feeling insecure and dependent on them, manipulators play on your innate fear of being alone or starting over. They do this by painting a picture of a future full of loneliness and despair if you don't submit to their will. However, remember that a healthy relationship shouldn't be based on fear. True love gives you confidence, fosters your development, and aspires to your happiness. What you can do is first take a step back and evaluate the issue carefully. Are they employing these methods to keep you in a relationship even though it's unhealthy? Don't allow fear cloud your judgment. Someone who regularly uses fear to manipulate you doesn't have your best interests at heart. Discuss with dependable family members or acquaintances what you should never allow anyone to convince you that you can't find happiness on your own because you are strong, capable, and deserving of respect. Instead, believe in yourself and know that there are a plethora of opportunities waiting for you beyond this relationship. Lastly, concentrate on creating a solid support network. People that believe in you and want the best for you should be in your immediate vicinity. Their support and love will give you the ability to make wise decisions and build satisfying relationships. It takes bravery to break free from fear attachment, but you're not by yourself. There are tools available to support you in navigating these circumstances. Remember that you deserve to have a happy and free from manipulation life. Take a step in the direction of your well-being and don't let fear control your decisions. Number 10. Final demands. Have you ever found yourself in a precarious situation where you were told to do this or else? Ultimatum. Ultimatums are a common manipulation technique that apply emotional pressure, forcing people to make decisions while using it. Appeals to people's emotional weaknesses, frequently making them feel trapped and under duress. At its foundation, an ultimatum is a type of communication that crosses the line from persuasion to coercion. It produces a binary. This psychological tactic is intended to take advantage of the recipient's fear, uncertainty, or anxiety, compelling them to comply out of a sense of urgency or self-preservation. Choice presents limited options with the implicit threat of undesirable consequences if the stipulated conditions are not met. Maintaining autonomy and promoting good communication dynamics require an understanding of ultimatums as manipulative techniques. It's critical to distinguish between coercive methods that use emotional manipulation to control decisions and constructive discourse. Understanding that decisions should be made based on information rather than in response to outside influences is a necessary component of respecting one's autonomy. Recognizing that everyone deserves courteous communication, devoid of intimidation or emotional coercion, is crucial for maintaining positive, long-lasting relationships. Thrive on honest communication that is based on mutual understanding and a willingness to work together to overcome obstacles. Final terms, on the other hand, upset this equilibrium by introducing a power dynamic that weakens the principles of polite discourse. When faced with demands, people should consider their own values, desires, and boundaries. It takes courage to stand up for oneself and refuse to give in to unwarranted pressure. In order to undermine the manipulative power of ultimatums, it is imperative to develop clear communication about sentiments, concerns, and goals. In essence, ultimatums are power plays that take advantage of people's emotional vulnerabilities. It is essential to defend the right to polite conversation, devoid of coercive methods, by accepting ultimatums for what they are and encouraging candid discussion. People can take back control of their choices and preserve the integrity of their relationships by remembering that they are entitled to communication that upholds their autonomy and fosters positive connections. The 11th blame game is a cunning method used by manipulators to keep you under control. Do you ever feel like you're being blamed for something you didn't do? Here's how it works. Imagine someone making a mistake, but instead of accepting responsibility for it, they throw the finger at you. They might even make you feel guilty, even if you didn't do anything wrong. This might cause you to doubt yourself, apologize a lot, or even accept responsibility for their errors. This can happen anywhere: at home with a controlling family member, in a romantic relationship with a jealous partner, or even at work with a cunning co-worker. For example, a boyfriend may blame you for his bad mood, saying it's your attitude that's bothering him. A co-worker may get away with a project failure by blaming it on you, even though you had nothing to do with it. So, how do you fight back? First, stay grounded in reality. Don't accept blame for things you didn't do. Realizing your own worth is essential. Keeping a journal of conversations and occurrences will help you recall things clearly and prevent you from falling victim to deception that causes you to distrust your own recollection. Next, establish limits. Speak up and tell the manipulator that it's not fair and that I'm not accountable for it. Talking to a therapist, family, or trusted friend can also be very beneficial, as they can offer you support and a new viewpoint. Shattering. These are 10 powerful manipulation techniques to be aware of. Remember, you deserve healthy, respectful relationships. If you recognize any of these behaviors, don't hesitate to seek support from friends, family, or a therapist. Now let's get interactive. Share your experiences with manipulation in the comments section below. Break free from the guilt cycle the manipulator is trying to trap you in. Don't let someone else's blame game bring you down. Stay strong and assertive. Until the next time, let's encourage one another to set up sound boundaries and forge true ties. Remain fantastic and safe.